Nick, start off, how's the situation there? Obviously, another positive case for COVID.
Yeah, I think I just heard Harry Edwards has gone into the AFL Health and Safety protocol, so not sure how long he's going to be away from the club for, but he joins Liam Ryan, who's another one that's been away for a few days now, and fingers crossed to get both those boys back pretty soon.
For a lot of people, it's still pretty fresh over here. How are you? Is it a nervous situation, or do you just roll on business as usual?
We've done a lot of preparation for it, so I guess we roll on business as usual, and we've expected that a few guys might contract COVID, but at the same time they might become close contacts, which puts them at home for an extended period as well. So as much as we're doing everything in our power to not get it, the reality is that there's going to be some guys that are going to be affected throughout the course of this year.
Do you worry about the impact it'll have through the season?
A little bit. I think it will affect games to every team, but it's one of those things we can't control, and there's no point really wasting energy worrying about it. We've prepared as much as we can for around what we can and can't do with it, along with the rest of the state. So, we just kind of take it as each one comes. So, like I said, Liam last week and Harry, I think today or yesterday. Who knows if that spikes or if that goes down over the coming months.
How do you feel about everything else that's going on around you, Nick, with obviously no Shep, no JD, and a heap of injuries mounting through the pre-season on top of COVID?
Yeah, I think the current reality is that we do have a lot of injuries. It's something that I know I've never seen throughout my career here at the club, and I think the calibre of people that are out too, but that's the nature of football clubs. You have events that affect you throughout the year, and we've had things like COVID, we've had to travel, and having injuries is just another part that happens with it as well. We've faced this before, maybe not to this extent, but the next soldier steps up. I guess now we're blooding a lot more youth, and they'll get a few more games, especially the early parts of the year, and fingers crossed we get a lot of those boys back, over the course of the year.
Can I just take you back to the COVID element? I was striking yesterday that Gil McLaughlin's standing there doing a press conference in the morning saying, no masks, 100% capacity, bring back footy, and then a couple of hours later, Mark McGowan says 50% capacity. So it's obvious that we're going to be impacted over here. Do you feel it's inevitable that you're going to lose games because you don't have players available?
No, I don't think so. I think the common consensus is that, if players aren't available due to COVID, then I guess the next guys, the younger guys will step up, or guys that don't normally get a game early in their career might play, but I'm not too sure how it really works. There might be waffle guys that come up and put their hand up. I know Gil said that games will go on, they won't be postponed, they won't be delayed. So I think the 50% capacity is something that I guess the state's just trying to look after, the health and safety of everyone here. I know it was 75% a few weeks ago, but it's hard to kind of keep up with it all because it does change week in, week out.
With less than 3 weeks until round one and the way close contact rules are going and with numbers rising, is it part of you that just thinks I'd rather get it now, get it out over and done with, and then be able to play through the season without having to worry about it as much?
No, not at all. I think we're probably the opposite. We don't want to get it. I speak for myself in particular. It's one of those things that if you do get it, you've got to deal with it and get through that process. But we have to be smart with this as well. There's a lot of people that are affected, pretty harshly by if they do get COVID, they do contract it. So it might be a little bit selfish of myself to go and say, I want to go and get it if there's a teammate who has someone that's vulnerable at home and they get it and they spread that at home. So I do tread carefully when I do speak about, saying I want to go and get it, because I know that it does affect people other than myself. So, it's going to affect games throughout the year. I think it's inevitable, but it's going to do that to every team. I know teams have had it in Victoria, the eastern states already, but there's a chance they can also contract it again. So, I guess we've just got to wait and see.
So how cautious do you have to be just in life at the moment to avoid getting yourself into a situation where expose yourself to potentially being in close contact with mask situations and potentially contracting it by being in the wrong place at the wrong time just accidentally?
Yeah, I guess the accidental parts are unavoidable. If you're at a cafe or if you're walking past someone and you contract it, or people have families at home, they've got children, got partners at home that have jobs and, are in contact with numerous amount of people throughout the course of a day. So it's inevitable that someone's going to become a close contact or get it themselves, but we do everything we can. We do rat tests every morning before we come in, or rats before every day we come in, and we have a test on the Monday morning, the PCRs. So, and we try and avoid sitting indoors and doing things that that are potential risks of contracting COVID. So, we're doing everything in our power to postpone getting it, even though it might seem sensible to try and get it early to miss or to stop missing games in large numbers throughout the year. But I guess your health is our priority, and that's the way we're going to keep it.
Hey, Garrett.
Sorry. Nick, just with Oscar out for a chunk of the first part of the season, obviously your workload looks like it's going to be pretty heavy. How is Bailey Williams and maybe young Jamison tracking? Do you think they're going to be able to play an important role to give you a bit of a break here and there? Yeah,
Bailey's had a really good pre-season, and I'm really excited to see him come about now. He stepped into that role and has really embraced it. And Jamo's another one. He's come off injury and he's working his way back as well. So we've got Luke Stranatica, who's potential to join us as well. And he's another ruckman that's from the East Fremantle ranks and spent some time at the Dockers. So we've got a lot of ruck stocks that can help out, but I think we're going to be fine in terms of our tall department with Oscar being out for a period of time.
And you mentioned before about perhaps the need to bring in waffle players. I see there's been a bit of a backlash from some of the clubs about letting their players take that step up. What's your take on that?
I guess it's understandable. Every waffle club wants to have success and they put a lot of time and effort in developing these players. But at the same time, a lot of these players' aspirations are to play AFL football. So if it's going to help their dream to play AFL football, which is the top elite level, then I'm all for it. I don't really want it to affect the grassroots level or the waffle level over here, but at the same time, it's good exposure. It's good for, I guess, their development, and who knows, they might make a career of playing AFL football, which I think their respective clubs will be proud of.
And Nick, have you had a chance to sort of reach out to Jack Darling, and do you sort of feel perhaps you're going to have to go without him this whole season?
Yeah, it's still pretty unsure and unclear with where that's all at. I think Dom probably summed it up really well last week in saying we're there to support him as a mate, as a brother, and he's going through what he's going through, and we're always there for a chat if need be. But it's tough, like you said, having a few injuries and having a few talls out at the moment. He's the perfect fit to be there, but I respect Jack as a man and as a brother, and as like I said, I'll always be there for him if he needs someone to talk to.
Nick, sorry, Chad, as you go, mate.
Thanks for that. I just wanted to ask, there's already quite a few people writing you guys off for the season, given the injuries and what happened against the Dockers. Just from a player's perspective, what goes through your mind when you hear that, and what kind of hope can you give the Eagles fans?
I think it's understandable when you have a massive loss like that in a pre-season game, albeit there was no points up for grabs. People were entitled to have their opinion, and everyone has their bets and their tips and whatnot for what they think might eventuate throughout the season, and everyone's entitled to have that as well. It's what makes football a beautiful thing. So write us off if you please, but I know internally we're all excited, we're all ready to go, and we're excited to prove some of those people wrong. So it happens every year. People tip teams to be top four, bottom four, to win a grand final, and that's all part of the fun of football. So I know we're working pretty hard on things, and it wasn't the best, I guess, result last Friday, but it's all learning. We get another chance this Sunday, and then the following week before round one actually kicks off.
Just given the amount of injuries, how hard will that be to overcome? Because there's a lot of key players out for long periods.
Yeah, I think our young guys have been waiting a fair while now. We've played a lot of older players for a long time now, and some of the youth have probably been unable to play because of that, or have had limited game time. But this will be good exposure for them coming through, and I guess with playing some of those guys builds experience, builds excitement, but also mistakes come with that as well. So we get good learnings from that. And yesterday and today, this morning, some of those meetings is a good learning experience, especially from the Fremantle game, about where we need to get to and how we need to get better before the season commences.
And just one more on Jack Darling. Has he given you guys any indication at all that he might be able to play this season, that he might get vaccinated?
I'm not too sure on that front. That's more of a board level conversation I think Jack has with them. I guess anything to do with someone's private medical details doesn't really get passed on to players. So we kind of leave that to Trevor Nisbet to deal with.
Yeah, no worries, thanks for that.
Nick, what have you made of Hugh Dixon?
Yeah, Hugh's put his best foot forward, especially on Friday night against his old mob, to get signed up as an SSP. And, really exciting. I didn't really see too much of him before he actually came to West Coast, but to see him up close and personal and see what he did at training, but also on game day, I'm pretty excited to see how far that goes. And, fingers crossed we add him to our list because he's going to be a valuable player.
And obviously there was a lot of hype around Campbell Chesser. It was quite disappointing to see him go down. Have you seen the pre-season of young Brady Hoff?
Yeah, Hoffy's been really good along with Chesser. Those two have probably been the standouts out of the younger players. Chess, really unfortunate. He had a lot of upside, a lot of excitement. And I thought he was probably going to play round one. But unfortunate injury. He's got a few guys alongside him that can help him get through his rehab. So he's lucky on that front. But I think Hoffy's come a long way. He's a quiet achiever. He wants to work hard. He knuckles down back, and just plays his role. So he's the one guy, I think I've been saying it for weeks now, that I'm really excited to see play some football.